Highly compensated executives oftentimes have different benefit plans and employee compensation plans that give the company creative ways in order to properly enumerate the benefits to the executive, but those plans oftentimes make it more complicated to unwind and untangle the estate for the purposes of a property division and a divorce. Compensation plans generally are broken down into two different categories: qualified plans or non-qualified plans. Qualified plans are plans that are covered under ERISA under federal law, and those are generally a little bit easier to deal with. If you've got a qualified plan that is a 401k, a savings plan, a pension, those sorts of plans can generally be valued and divided by court order, such that the plan administrator for the plan is required by order of the court to segregate out the non-employee spouse's share of those assets or those funds and ensure that they get conveyed to them at the appropriate time. However, executives oftentimes are being compensated at a level such that they exceed what is allowed to be set aside under a qualified plan under ERISA, and so therefore we oftentimes have to factor in non-qualified plans that executives have. Non-qualified plans that oftentimes include non-qualified pensions where it is not protected under ERISA and there's a greater risk of funds not being available to either the employee spouse or the non-employee spouse upon retirement. It also includes things such as stock options, restricted stock, and performance shares. These sorts of non-qualified plans are more complicated to divide, and it's important to be able to properly identify them, determine if they can be valued, and figure out a mechanism by which they can be divided if necessary. Things such as stock options and restricted stock can be divided and oftentimes are divided through a constructive trustee mechanism where the employee spouse is required to hold the assets for the benefit of the non-employee spouse until such time the restrictions lift or otherwise they can be conveyed to the non-employee spouse. These sorts of executive compensation plans do vary from company to company. It's important to make sure you've got somebody who is familiar with these plans, understands how to identify them, understands how best to allocate them, and knows how best to have a final decree that has appropriate language so that both the employee spouse and the non-employee spouse are properly protected.